Good morning, everybody. It is so good to see you on Zoo Adventures today. Fun little episode today. Steve's in front of the camera. I'm going to introduce Leslie because she was so kind to be able to come. She was busy today. I said I really could use a hand. She stepped up to the plate. So thank you very much, Leslie, for being here today.
I got to do some pretty fun stuff. But yes, sometimes we have to change what we're doing and get other stuff done. Fast life here.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, Leslie, for that. Today, Vet Tech Appreciation. How about that? We haven't had a chance to. We've done the keepers before. We celebrated the keepers. We thought, you know what? It's Vet Tech Appreciation Day today as you watch this. So we're going to meet with 3 of our vet techs. They're going to share some amazing stories, kind of how they've come to be in this position and what being a vet tech is all about. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat and I'll see if I can get the techs to answer them over time. Check this out. So Leslie.
Yes.
Do you know who that trio is?
It's our fabulous vet tech team.
It is.
Well, some of our fabulous vet tech team.
And we're out here near Watani Grasslands, and we have some of our vet techs. Whoa!
Sorry.
And we have some of our vet techs here because this is Vet Tech Appreciation Day week time. And we haven't ever been able to come out and talk to them before. And they do such amazing work here at the zoo. We thought, you know what? It is time to appreciate our vet techs on camera. So now we have to always appreciate our vet techs.
You always appreciate us, Steve.
Well,
Just not on
you.
camera sometimes. It's okay.
This is true. Awesome. And here you are. So can we do introductions first? And we'll go from left to right.
Sure. I am Heather Scott. I am the hospital manager and head vet tech here at the zoo.
Hospital manager. Hi, Heather.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm the new vet tech. I've been here for 2 months.
I love the fact she qualifies it. I am the new one. So please don't ask me any questions.
She's got it.
I'm Amy Kepp. I'm one of the technicians, and I've been here at the zoo for about 2.5 years.
Have you really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize. Jeez.
Yeah.
So you came. Oh, you were like a little before the whole COVID thing started.
Just
Got
enough
you.
time to get situated and then have everything be
Have everything
different.
change.
Yep.
I love that. So cool. So thank you very much. Where are y'all from?
I am from Greenville, South Carolina.
Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm from Harrison Township, Michigan.
You said she was from Alaska.
I know. I was making things up.
I was all excited. Talk to somebody from Alaska, and here she's from. Where are you from again?
Harrison Township, Michigan.
Michigan. My daughter's in Michigan right now.
And I'm also from the Midwest. I'm from Wisconsin.
Well, welcome everybody. Here, you're kind of from here, but
Close enough. I'm a Carolina girl.
You're a Carolina girl
Yeah.
through and through. That'll work. And you said it'd be 2 months, 2.5 years. Heather, how long have you been here? Just
14 years.
14. Wait a minute. When did you start?
when I was 5. I'm sorry, 10. I was 10. 5 was a little bit of a stretch. I was 10 when I started.
10. That's awesome. I love it.
Yep.
So we started at the same time.
Yep.
I didn't realize that.
Yep.
That is awesome. Very cool. So, Vet Tech Appreciation Week. We're like to kind of so as a tech, what is the role of the vet technician day to day? Is there such a thing?
Yeah.
There is?
I have a question for you.
Oh.
What do you think techs can't do?
What do I think techs cannot do? I think I've been set up with that question.
I think you have too, but it's fun.
I'm going to say that a technician cannot.
There's nothing they can't do.
I gotta think of something. I think she's kind of set me up for
There's
this.
3
So
things.
I'm going to say
Legally, there are 3 things a technician cannot do.
Well, I know you can give drugs.
Yep.
You cannot prescribe them, though.
You cannot prescribe drugs.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to actually perform a surgery?
Nope. Not
So you-
perform it. We can assist
You can
in it.
assist in it, but you
Yeah.
can't do the cutting part of it.
Correct.
I don't know. Leslie, I need some help. There's a lot of students over looking at me like, Steve, you have to come up with an answer. I don't know. What's the third thing?
We are not allowed to diagnose a disease.
Well, you can't diagnose.
Yep. But we can do...
I had a strange feeling you're pretty good at saying, you know what, I think it could be.
I mean, we oftentimes are hints behind the veterinarian saying, hey, doctor,
I love that.
I noticed this. We are the eyes and ears of the doctors.
Okay.
And then we're the ones saying, hey, this animal didn't react well to this drug. Hey, this animal needs more pain medications.
I see.
In the zoo setting, we work with the keepers as the clients. In small animal medicine, we work with the owners.
Oh, interesting. That's a cool way to think about that. I love that. You're the hints. I
Yeah.
like that you're the hint for them, and that you're still looking at clients. It's just a different kind of world in the client world.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep. So
Put Sam on the spot real quick.
Yeah.
So 2 months, right?
2 months.
2 months. So when you came in, why vet tech world? You've been here 2 months. Why vet tech?
I've been a technician for 6 years.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was working at a small animal and exotic practice.
Okay.
And I love the variety and the challenge.
Nice.
And zoo medicine, there's no normal day-to-day.
There's not.
And,
Yeah, it's one of the,
and yeah, you have all of the species as your patients. And so I was really interested.
Oh.
And the conservation aspect of it
Mhm.
really drew me to zoo medicine.
That's a big difference, isn't it?
It is.
Especially when you come from a small practice.
It is, yeah.
I love that.
It's an adjustment.
she's adjusting great, by the way.
But
Really,
the variety.
really
I
well.
love it when you say the variety, too.
Yeah.
What about you, Amy? As far as kind of that day-to-day, what do you do? What drew you in?
I've always really enjoyed medicine. I thought for a long time I would be a human nurse.
Really?
That I decided against when I realized that there were more people kind of flooding the human medical
Oh,
field,
interesting.
and the animals were kind of left behind. So
Oh.
not necessarily left behind, but not thought of in as high regard.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was determined to help the animals.
Come in and change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's great.
But in terms of day-to-day stuff, every day is different.
Mhm.
I can't even really, you
I
never
think
know.
in a zoo world, that's kind of the pat answer, right?
It
Because
is.
Leslie doesn't have a normal day.
No.
And she's an educator. Right, Leslie?
Mm-hmm. Like I'm supposed to be doing something else right now, and
Yes.
I was asked to do this.
We had planned on doing this live in October.
Yeah.
Because the vet techs are so busy, they said, you know what, that might not be a really good idea. So it was awesome to be able to come out and tape. And Heather, you said hospital manager. What and the difference in the head tech? So you have the experience. You've been for a while. What does a hospital manager kind of get involved with?
I spend a lot of time in front of my computer.
Oh, you do.
I do. Answering emails, working on schedules, ordering, just kind of keeping all the different plates rolling and
Sure.
spinning around the hospital, trying to keep the vet schedules going, their meetings, plus clinics, plus, getting all the animals taken care of, whether they're sick or just an annual healthy exam. Trying to keep track of all of those things and make sure we have the supplies we need so we can do our jobs
that
on a
happen.
day-to-day basis.
I'm lucky enough in that Heather also does some amazing work with our animal ambassador team. She's always working with us, and it's been a pleasure to work with Heather over time with those animals because that's such a crazy, crazy opportunity. Skill sets. If you had to, I'll give you a second to ponder for a second. So if there was a skill or two that you said, you know what, by golly, every tech needs to have this. What do you think it might be? We'll give them a second to ponder this one. Oh, she's already ready.
Yeah.
I got two notes here.
I'd say being flexible,
Thanks, Amy.
being flexible with your day, being flexible with your plan on how you might try to administer medication, because
Oh.
animals aren't always the most compliant with things like that, and they're very smart. Just flexibility in your day is definitely a big thing, and I think that's regardless of where you work. You could work in a small animal, large animal, specialty hospital, a zoo,
Wow.
and flexibility is going to be a big part of your day.
So don't come in with a plan.
You can
As
have
far as-
goals,
Goals.
but
You're not doing 8:30, 9:30,
Yeah.
10. You're not doing that. You're
And
coming
then-
in.
you
No,
know
we
from
do
there.
that.
But
We do that, and then when you actually hit the front door, you just throw it back
so
out
by the time the
behind
day
you.
starts, it's already out the window. So flexibility. Thank you. Anybody else? Another one or two words that you think might be?
She stole mine, but also the ability to grow and change.
Oh, I guess medicine is constantly
Yes.
changing, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So, because education is, and the stuff we're trying to share out there is, so I imagine that's awesome. So, ability to grow and be adaptable with the information that you have.
Yep.
Love it. Very cool. Coolest, neatest opportunity you've been part of? You've been here 2 months, but you've got a background as well. So, anybody have any ideas? Anything kind of cool? We'll let you ponder for a minute, because since you started young, we'll let Heather ponder for a second. Anybody else have an idea? Kind of the coolest opportunities, doors that's opened, things you've seen?
Everything so far for me, but last week we worked with a polar bear, and that was incredible.
Did you see the little polar bear dance you did in class? That's a great little dance. What were you doing with the polar bear?
He was limping, so
Okay.
we took some X-rays, drew some blood, had an ultrasonographer come out. Yeah, that was incredible.
They had a stenographer come out?
Ultrasonographer.
Say it again.
Ultrasonographer, yeah.
What do they do?
They scan, take images of an ultrasound, just like people get.
Oh. Old technology's changing all the time.
It's like etymology and entomology, right?
Nice.
Happens all the time.
Those I know. Believe it or not. Anybody else? Kind of a neat, cool opportunity?
I got to
Heather's
do
looking
some-
at you, Amy, so Heather's like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
I got to do some survey work on some manatees in Florida.
Really?
So that was kind of cool to be a part of
Yeah.
getting information on a wild population of animals to
Neat.
hopefully use moving forward.
And have y'all been able to swim with manatees before? Hope so. That's kind of a cool opportunity. So that's neat to be able to actually do the research.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I love it. Very cool. All right, Heather.
Honestly, I don't have any one particular thing, but it's
Do you have any idea how kind of boring that answer is?
Yeah, I know.
Heather.
That's why you normally don't put me on TV.
This is very not true. So what do you think?
Honestly, it's the opportunities where we bring in so many other people.
Oh.
And we learn from, like, our ultrasonographer. I mean, she's amazing at what she does. She's very specific. She's a specialist in that field.
Wow.
We learn so much from her as a radiologist, looking at our radiology images, looking at our ultrasounds. So learning from those people who come in who have specialized in something, especially zoo techs, we're generalists. We know a little bit about a lot of different things, sometimes a lot about a lot of different things, but truly we're the MacGyvers of the tech world and the zoo world. And then we bring in the people who are like, I know this one thing very, very, very well.
Okay. I was going to ask you why you would bring in an expert, but that makes sense.
We learn a little bit more from them.
Okay.
About our general things, and we can apply it to all the different species other than what they're just working for.
And carry that through whenever we're out and about.
But even just other vets and techs from other zoos, if we have a big procedure, a couple years ago we anesthetized Jack the giraffe for some hoof issues, and we hadn't anesthetized a giraffe here in many years, so we brought in other zoo vets and technicians who had done that routinely and were comfortable with that procedure, so they came in and helped us, both the setup, the procedure, and then afterwards.
So how often does something like that happen, where you're like, you know what, it'd be great to have some help?
Probably, I would say average once or twice a year.
So it is something that's annual. Okay. So it's not like it's a total one-off.
No,
It'll happen.
No.
Is it fair to say that we've been called for expertise in the past?
For sure.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
That is the coolest part of this. In the zoo world, digital friends, in the zoo world, it is such a big, and we talked about this in Keeper Appreciation. Where'd Stacy go? Stacy was here a second ago. She was on. She was during Zookeeper Appreciation, and it's one of the things that they said was it's a family. And when we talk about family, I understand there's 1,000 different things to think about family, but when you think about a family as a group of people with kind of working towards the same goal sometimes, that's what happens here. Everybody has that vision in mind. We have a mission of the zoo we want to accomplish. There's a lot of things within that mission, and that entire group of people is driving towards that mission. And it's awesome to see that. And we talked to the keepers several times in the past. It's awesome to be able to highlight you all, because that connectivity has to be important. They are, where you are the eyes and ears for the doctors, the vets sometimes, they have to be the eyes and ears for y'all sometimes, I would think. Is that true? Kind of a fair thing to go out there?
We rely on our keepers all the time. They're the ones who have that day-to-day relationship with those animals, and they help us understand what we can do, both as techs and vets, to make those animals better. And kind of back to your family analogy, it takes a village. You know, we couldn't, as hospital staff, we couldn't just go out on the grasslands and get this oryx on our own. We need the keepers, you know, to do that. I mean, the vets probably could get all the equipment together and come out, but they need the techs to pack it. You know, we need everyone to chip in.
You have your stuff. You have the things that you're experts in, and you can rely on that over time. I think that is really kind of fun and exciting. We are here at the Watani Grasslands Habitat. Why are we here?
Amy, I'll let you take it.
Amy, why are we at the Watani Grasslands Habitat? We haven't started anything yet.
No, we haven't. The doctor and keepers have. We are attempting to anesthetize a fringe-eared oryx for some potential facial swelling.
You said attempting it. That's not something you're just going to go do?
In theory. Again, it's one of the goals that we had for today. How it's going to play out is entirely up to the oryx. So
interesting.
Dr.
Okay.
Minter has gone out on the field to potentially dart the animal, who is hopefully unsuspecting, but they get pretty smart and pick up on the little cues of things being different, so that we can anesthetize her and get a good exam on her.
Nice. Love it. And it's awesome that we were able to come out and be part of that, which is kind of fun always, for sure. One thing I would like to compliment you all on, and Dr. Minter and the other team that's here, is I think your ability to translate what's happening with the animals into a language that I can understand, that our keepers can understand, that our educators, that our education team, that the elephants can understand. I think that is so special, because it's not easy. Because you all learned these words, and you've got to break them down to these words for some of us. So I think that's amazing, and I think it's wonderful that you all are able to do that. So a big thank you from us to y'all for that, because now we can understand what's going on in language that we're more familiar with. Now, the keepers might know a little bit more than I, but it's interesting when I hear in chat, that's a really big deal. And to be able to understand that, sometimes have it broken down, is really, really, really good for us, I think.
I have something to say.
Oh, she was pointing at my microphone. What do you want,
I'll say, before we go out on habitat and
Yes.
wrap up, are there other vet techs that are not here right now that maybe we need to give a shout out to?
They're not here.
Well, but we still appreciate them.
We still like them? Like
Yes.
if they're off or something like that?
They just, or if they just are doing something else today.
All right. Who else you got that you want to say hello to?
We do have some villagers back at the home base.
Told you.
No, Kelly and Lori are both back at the hospital.
Okay.
They're taking care of animals that are currently living at the hospital with us and doing lab work.
Interesting.
So again, the three of us are out here to
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep. And then we have 2 full-time technicians over at our wildlife center.
Oh, wow.
And they're focused on taking care of our injured and orphaned native wildlife.
Oh, no kidding.
So again, that village to take care of everything.
So much happening here.
Yep. So there's
And things
lots-
you wouldn't even think about.
Yeah. So we all have our niche and we take care of it, and we float around and help each other. But yeah, we have our focus.
So before we sign off, it's one other thing it seems like that kind of put this in perspective as well is communication. As I hear all the talking and everything that's going on, and you sharing information with us trying to get whoever us is, us sharing information back, it seemed like that has to be open and free flowing. Yeah. And imagine the same thing with it. If you have 2 villagers, 2 techs that are back, they're working on something. When you guys go back, when y'all hit that information, it's like, okay, now how would we put that into the rest of the day today or tomorrow or whatever?
Yeah.
Awesome.
You'll see us a lot on radios and cell phones, texting back and forth, making sure everyone's, hey, come get samples. Hey, could you bring me this? I forgot this. Kelly just texted a question about something that we can take care of later. So there's usually lots of communication, however it needs to happen.
Awesome. So I think that's it for now. Let's wrap this up, and then once you all get finished up, I know you got some more work to do, and we look forward to seeing y'all working out on Habitat.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all. See you in a little bit. Didn't work. One of the things that happens sometimes. So now there's this mass parade of people bringing everything back to the truck. A lot of these are vet students that are here. We have keeper Jade. You guys have met Jade before. Hi, Jade. Walking away. Stacy's up there. So yeah, it's just a big, huge. I love what Heather said earlier. It's a village, right? It takes so many people to do so much of the work. And look at all the prep that had to go into this. All this had to go into the truck first, just in case this would work. Look at the truck. The truck's crazy. So much stuff over there. Heather, it's a lot.
It is a lot. Everything but the kitchen sink.
Everything, and I bet there is a sink here in some form or fashion.
Actually, no. That is the one thing that as a technician I have failed at recreating in life.
Really?
Yeah.
No sink?
No sink. I mean, I have...
Don't we have things here called like goals of some sort? Maybe you can put that in one of your goals.
But I really like to not pack the sink.
You don't want to pack the sink?
I mean, isn't there enough stuff other than that?
What do you think? Is there enough stuff, digital friends?
And this isn't even everything. There's still stuff in the truck that we hadn't pulled out. We wouldn't have pulled out until we were back at the barn.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But it can't be frustrating I imagine, because it's got to happen from time to time. So I guess it's like, it's part of the day. You know, you go in, you get ready, and unfortunately you can't always.
We call this a dry run.
A dry, well, there you go.
So we made sure we had everything.
I love it.
The last time we did a dry run for this actual animal, it was Sam's first time doing kind of grasslands procedure. So she and I spent the time in the truck going over all the different pieces and parts, all of our emergency drugs that we would use. These procedures actually involve a very dangerous drug that actually can be dangerous to people as well.
Us too. Oh, wow.
To us as well. And so that's why, we spent time going over that. And if this happened, this is what we would do as the technicians to save the doctor's life if he stabs himself with the bad drugs, which they train very hard not to do.
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that. But we have the capability of doing that.
You can deal with all that.
Yeah.
So the contingencies is what you're trying to deal with there. And having a dry run like this, even though unintended, you can always learn from stuff. You can always learn from it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we'll let you continue on.
Thank you.
But thank you very much. And we got one more question for y'all in a little bit.
Awesome. Thanks.
Didn't work out.
Nope. That's what happens. You come out on the grasslands habitat, and it's one of those things where it's a hit or miss. You roll the dice. If the animals don't want to play, you just don't get them.
Very cool. Well, it is what it is. We appreciate you letting us come out and giving us a shot anyway.
No worries.
Giving us a shot of being here.
Yeah.
So, as our digital friends know, this is all about Vet Tech Appreciation Day or a week. I don't know which one it is.
They get one day, but we celebrate it all week.
They get one day.
I think it's Wednesday's Vet Tech Appreciation Day.
Yep, and that's what this is airing.
But they get the entire week.
Gotcha, that's cool.
I mean, honestly,
should it be 365?
I try to appreciate them all year round. But again, there's a dedicated week that I'll buy them.
And they deserve it.
Yeah, definitely. They deserve a lot more than that. But I mean, we'll definitely give them a week.
At least to celebrate.
Just at least a week.
What do they do for you?
Everything. So obviously I've got multiple technicians and they do a multitude of different things. Obviously we've got Heather. She's a hospital manager.
Dynamite.
She kind of acts as, she's my brain. She keeps me organized. She keeps me focused. I mean, I'm looking at these very large picture things and she's keeping me down in the details. She got the details down.
Sure.
I've got a number of technicians within the hospital and they rotate around doing animal care, laboratory work, and then coming out in the field with me to do medical procedures or in the hospital to do medical procedures. So think about your nurse. Think about the nurse when you go to the hospital. The veterinary technicians are the anesthesia technicians, or the nurses. They're the medical technicians and nurses. They are the radiology technicians and nurses. They're doing all of these things. And then on top of that, they're also taking care of animals that are in the hospital.
Yeah, which is not, and they can't tell you anything. You told us that before.
Yep. So they're basically taking care of those animals, but they're also working in the laboratory. So they're wearing probably 30 different hats in a different day, and they're just constantly just taking them on and off.
That's amazing.
And then in conjunction with those, I've got technicians over at the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center.
Yeah, Heather mentioned that.
So that is a different branch. I mean, obviously they're doing a different set of things and a different set of skills. So, I mean, honestly, I've got a great group of people. That's awesome. I could not do my job without them. For sure.
They do.
Working at the North Carolina Zoo or zoos in general, you have to be extremely flexible.
Was it Leslie? Was it Tech Amy who said that was her word, wasn't it? We asked him to give us one word, and I think it was Tech Amy that said being flexible.
And again, I mean, I jokingly say you got to be like a reed in the water. Just kind of be like, let the water take you where it's going to be. Because again, you never know what your day is going to be like, and if you're too rigid, this job will break you.
Oh, I bet. That makes perfect sense.
You'll crumble under it because again, it's not rigid. It's not a this is what you're going to do. For every 5 minutes, you can't lay that out.
No, and we were talking about that a little bit, even in the zoo world in general. Oh, yeah. But I imagine in a veterinary technician day, it's like, hey, we've got to roll.
Yeah, you just got to roll with the day and see how it goes.
Good deal. Awesome.
But again, this group, I got a fantastic group of staff, and I really could not, like I said, I could not do my job without them.
Well, we appreciate their time for sure, 100%.
Oh, I appreciate them day in and day out. Again, we give them a week, but they deserve a year.
They deserve a year. Yeah. I love it. All right. Dr. Minter, JB, thank you so much. Y'all hang tuned for one more question.
Thanks a lot.
You called this an amazing thing just now. So we turned the camera back on because of what you just said. Yeah. What is this?
This is technician enrichment.
I love that. Technician enrichment. I love that idea.
I mean, how could you not just love this little face? Hi, baby. Look at that face. Look at that face. Look at it. Oh, that's such a good mouth up there.
You don't have I can't put the microphone when you're doing all these kind of gyrations down.
I mean, it's really just me making baby noises at a baby rhino, so there's nothing to hear.
Linda.
No, this is basically our happy place. You know, this is why we do what we do, and this is one of the benefits and rewards for it is we get to come up here and remember why we love this job.
You know, you're making a difference and being able to have this thing. I was just saying, you can't take this for granted.
No.
When you're at a position like this, this is something that not everybody. I mean, our digital friends that are watching right now can't do this all the time. They can't be present, and I know we can't do it all the time, but it's kind of in our back pocket. So it's crazy.
And honestly, we love to come up and see our animals awake. Oftentimes when we're working with our animals, they're under anesthesia. You know, they don't feel good, they're sick. We're having to do mean things like give them injections. So anytime that we can come up and just let them know that we love them. And oh my God, look at the fuzzy ears.
Leslie's going to zoom in on your hand there.
I mean, just the fuzz. It makes my heart so happy.
That is so awesome. And I love that you said that, because when you're working on them all the time, they're not, and sometimes they're in trouble.
Yeah.
So it's awesome, I'm sure, this huge assumption. I get to come, they're awake, they're active, they're moving around.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep. So, and I can't do it as much with these guys, but you know.
They're a little bigger.
They're a little bigger, but.
Oh.
You know, when we go up to some of our primate areas, I have a pocket full of peppermints, and
really?
I buy my love. I'm like, here's some
here's
some delicious candy. You love me.
That's
so that
cute.
when I come up later with a needle and syringe, you
won't hate me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
and then when I stick them with that needle and syringe, I'm like, and here's more peppermints. Keep loving me.
What's a different kind of building relation, right?
Yeah,
Building a
exactly. So.
All right, do me one favor.
Yeah.
And then we'll get Sam.
Yep.
Forgot your name for a second. Thank you. Advice to digital friends, vet tech world. What do you think?
I mean, if you're talking about specifically just becoming a vet tech,
let's go with that.
Then honestly, volunteer.
Okay.
Get in at a younger age, working for a clinic. Loving animals and working with animals are two very different things.
Did you hear that? Loving animals and working with animals, two different things. That is a magnificent thing.
Yeah. So everyone who works with animals loves them on some level, but working with them is a very, very different mentality.
Wow.
You know, you're doing mean things to them, essentially. You're doing the hard day-to-day things. So getting that experience and just learning and but again, constantly learning. No matter how long you've been in the field, I learn something new almost every day.
Nice.
And then if you want to talk about specifically into the zoo world, just keep trying, get your skills, working on your dogs and cats. It all translates. Like I'm bringing Sam in. I'm like, you know, she's worked on dogs and cats and some exotics for many years. And, you know, we give her a zoo animal and she takes a second and we say, nope, it's a giant dog.
It's a giant dog.
It's a giant dog.
X, yeah.
You just, you know, the horn is a little disturbing, but yeah, you know, you use a lot of the same things. So even if you've never worked in a zoo before, if you have good, strong clinical base, you can probably do it in a zoo.
There's some experience there.
Yeah.
Come in here, Sam. So same thing for you. Can I ask you this kind of similar question?
Okay.
Yeah, you've been here for 2 months, but you have that experience for 6 years.
Yep.
So you're a little bit newer. Do you have any advice you want to give somebody who's thinking about going into vet tech world?
Make sure you love what you're doing, because it's a lot. It's worth it if you love your job, but make sure you truly love it.
Gotcha.
Yep. And getting to know people in the community.
In the community?
Yeah.
How come?
The vet world is small. It really is. And once you get
wow.
into zoo, it's even smaller. And so getting to know people, joining organizations, it's really helpful.
Nice. Awesome. Love that. Great advice there. Great advice from Heather as well. Digital friends, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been a really fun day for us too. It was fun to talk with the techs. Little chat with JB as well. Another monarch butterfly. Monarch.
Could be vice versa.
Monarch. Flitting around that way.
Definitely a monarch.
What'd you say?
Definitely a monarch.
Definitely a monarch. See? So thank you all so very much for tuning in. This very special day today. Vet Tech Appreciation Day, week. And as JB said, it could definitely be a year. They do some amazing stuff for us here at the North Carolina Zoo and everywhere the vet techs are being used. So your Zoo EDventures team today with Steve in front of the camera along with some really amazing friends. Who was behind the camera today?
Leslie, good morning, everybody.
Thank you all so much. Wednesdays at 10 o'clock. Hope to see you again soon. Stay safe. See y'all later. Bye now.